Okay, guys, today we're looking at composite Pluto in Aries, and I'm just going to run through with you how this works. So what we're doing is we look at the house and sign where composite Pluto resides, and this shows us the evolutionary intention and our prior life desires in relationship. It shows us where the relationship left off, and then the polarity point will show us the way forward to resolve karmic issues. The North Node and South Nodes and the location of the rulers are really important to look at as well to get the bigger picture. And then the intention of the relationship will be seen in the polarity point of Pluto and the house and sign it resides in. Here we can also understand the reason for the relationship and why it's taking place. And if you get the Pluto, the soul's evolution through the relationships, Jeff Wolf Green, you can get it on Amazon. The reason I've made a slide here for that is that you'd be able to stop this and write down what you need to write down to remember what you're looking at when you're looking at composite Pluto. So then we have my chart, and this is just a natal chart which you can look at to understand. If you've got your own natal chart, then if you haven't, you can go to astro.com, www.astro.com, but you can also pull up composite charts there. I'll make a video during the week which will show you how to access a composite chart with your chart. But what you will need is the time, date, place, and birth. You can't, if you haven't got the time, then you're just not going to get the right reading. So you do need to have the time, because the rising sign changes, on the ecliptic every 2 hours, and the moon is, 2.5 days through a sign. So we do need birth time when we're looking at chart work. We've also got, here you can see my Pluto on my MC at the top. And so therefore I look in natal as well. We look at the polarity point to resolve any issues, dynamics. We look at the South Node past life. And then we look, for instance, my South Node is in Scorpio. So then we look at the ruler, and the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto. So this shows, what's playing out for me. And then we'd look at the North Node, and my North Node is in Taurus. So we'd look, what is the ruler of the Taurus? North Node in Taurus, the ruler is Venus, and my Venus is in Aries. So we can see, what the dynamics going on for me. But that's deep work that I do when I work with people on their charts. Then we've got here a composite chart. So this is a chart of two people put together. This is with a friend of mine, and you can see that Pluto is in the 10th house. So we can see that then I would look to the polarity point, which would be the 4th house, and that's the intention of the friendship. And then we'd look at the South Node, Sagittarius, and we know that I know, and maybe you know yourself, that the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. So we can see Jupiter is up here. And then we look at the North Node, and we've got Gemini, North Node, 7th house. And we then look for the ruler, and that's Mercury. And it's interesting, there's a conjunction there of Mercury and Jupiter. So, that's the deeper work in astrology, but that's an idea so you begin to understand. When we look at, so if you've got composite Pluto 1st house, or you have composite Pluto Aries, what you've basically got is that you have a new cycle of first-time contact with whoever you're in contact with there. And that can be an intimate relationship, or with a child, or somebody at work. It can be any type of relationship. It's beginning something new, a new beginning of discovery. It's about individual needs and desires are at the top of the agenda here. There can be, you can be headstrong, there can be power trips, and there can be overpowering each other. So we need to watch out for that. It's some individuated desires and a need to have independent realities. So do understand that this is what this relationship is about. And look out for dominating each other and controlling each other. And if you are, that must be looked at. Past lives of not sustaining relationships and short-term intensity could have existed there. There can be a strong attraction, and the sexual activity is not enough to keep them committed to each other. So it's worth understanding that as well, if it's an intimate relationship. And the composite Pluto would be, polarity point is the 7th house, Libra. So you've got to learn to listen to each other and each other's realities, to hear each other's fully, and to hear and listen to each other, to watch out for interpreting each other's realities, and projections and filters that are going on. Look out for any projections and filters that are going on in this relationship. To ask the other what they mean, so there are no mixed signs and signals. So be straight with each other. Ask, is that if somebody, one of you say something, you know, be straight, but also if you don't understand, ask, what do you mean by that? There can be, this is about equality, balancing, being, giving, working together, appreciation, and bringing in depth to the relationship. Okay, the next slide is something that Jeff Wolf Green says in Pluto Volume 1, page 346. So you can also get Pluto Volume 1 and Pluto Volume 2 to understand your astrology, evolutionary astrology. He says here, the need to merge with the source, the universal, requires that the individual leaps into the abyss with faith so that all barriers preventing this conscious union can be dissolved. Yet, this evolutionary need is commonly met with resistance and fear, just as the wave can resist returning to the sea for a short time, for instance. So he says for a time, so too does the egocentric identification within the individual resist, surrendering to the cosmic ocean or being from which he or she originated. And then we have here Carl Gustav Jung, which is a beautiful quote. He says that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So really worth digging into what that means for us as human beings, that if we don't bring, you know, if we don't bring consciousness to our issues, then, you know, we're just going to keep attracting things, and things are happening that we call fate, which is basically we've just been programmed and we've not looked at it. So also we can see how that directly connects with Pluto, or I do at least. And then what you resist not only persists, but it will grow in size. So that's my slideshow for today. And I'll be back next week with Taurus in the second house. And then I'll be running through each week, you know, each composite for everybody that isn't, you know, so you can look at all of your relationships basically, because each person you having a relationship with, or you know, you're going to have Pluto somewhere in one of the signs. Okay, great. Thanks for watching.